Imagine a young mother, just 21 years old, expecting her third child, tragically losing her life, and that of her unborn baby, in a routine police encounter over something as minor as suspected shoplifting. This heartbreaking incident in Ohio has sparked outrage and legal battles, raising serious questions about police training, accountability, and the treatment of Black women in America. But here's where it gets controversial. Was the officer's use of deadly force truly justified, or did systemic failures play a bigger role? Let's dive into the details of this case, breaking it down step by step to make it easier to follow, even if you're new to stories like this. Updated on September 25th, 2025, 6:53 a.m. EDT, CBS, AP. Ohio officer faces murder charges in fatal shooting of expectant mother. A federal lawsuit filed this week claims that an Ohio police officer involved in the deadly shooting of a pregnant Black woman 2 years ago lacked proper training and oversight from his superiors. The suit targets the police chief and the township where he worked, arguing that these shortcomings contributed to the tragic outcome. The case centers on Takia Young, a 21-year-old mother-to-be who was fatally shot in August 2023 in the parking lot of a grocery store in the Columbus suburbs. Authorities suspected her of stealing bottles of alcohol, a relatively minor allegation that escalated into a deadly confrontation. Officer Connor Grubb and a fellow officer approached her vehicle. Young partially opened her window, and the other officer instructed her to exit the car. Bodycam footage from the scene, as reported by CBS affiliate WBNS-TV, captures Young's chilling question to the officers, "Are you going to shoot me?" Moments later, she shifted her car to the right, causing it to roll toward Grubb. In response, Grubb fired through the windshield, killing Young and her unborn daughter. At the time, Young was at least 25 weeks pregnant, meaning her baby was well into the developmental stage and could have survived outside the womb with medical intervention. Both mother and child were declared dead upon arrival at the hospital. Grubb was formally charged last year with murder, involuntary manslaughter, and assault. He has entered a not guilty plea, and a hearing in his criminal case is set for next week. This legal process will likely examine the sequence of events in detail, helping to clarify whether the shooting was an unavoidable reaction or something that could have been prevented. The lawsuit paints a picture of recklessness, alleging that the officers acted without conducting a proper verification or investigation. Instead of treating Young as someone suspected of a petty crime, they escalated the situation, viewing her as an imminent threat. To put this in simpler terms, imagine if a traffic ticket led to a full-blown standoff. It's an overreaction that ignores the low stakes involved. The complaint further states that Grubb had a history of aggressive interactions with community members, but received no significant disciplinary action, which might have allowed such patterns to continue unchecked. And this is the part most people miss. The suit isn't just about Grubb's actions. It introduces the concept of municipal liability, which means the township and its leaders could be held responsible for failing to ensure their officers are adequately prepared and monitored. This is a legal strategy that holds entire systems accountable, not just individuals, and it's designed to prevent similar tragedies by enforcing better policies. The lawsuit seeks financial compensation for damages and a court order to halt practices that infringe on Young's and her baby's constitutional rights, such as the right to due process and protection from unreasonable force. Adding another layer, Young's estate filed a separate lawsuit last month in Franklin County against Grubb, the Kroger supermarket chain, and one of its employees. This action alleges wrongful death and negligence, potentially implicating the store's role in how the incident unfolded, perhaps in how they reported the suspected theft or interacted with police. The federal lawsuit highlights that Grubb faced multiple complaints dating back to June 2023, just months before the shooting. These included accusations of physical intimidation, making improper arrests, skipping court appearances, violating department policies, and engaging in harassment. For beginners, think of this as a red flag system. If an officer has a track record of issues, it raises questions about whether they should be on the streets without intervention. Attempts to get comments were made via phone messages to Grubb's civil and criminal attorneys, Police Chief John C. Belford, and a lawyer for Blendon Township. An email was also sent to a Kroger spokesperson. However, Grubb's lawyer, Mark Collins, spoke to reporters after last year's arraignment, defending the shooting as necessary. The reason he just discharged his weapon is because he felt the threat of serious physical injury from being hit by the car or potential death, Collins explained, suggesting the car posed an immediate danger. But here's the controversy that divides opinions. Was this truly a life or death moment? Or could de-escalation techniques, training officers to calm situations rather than escalate them, have saved lives? Critics argue that shooting through a windshield at a moving vehicle, especially one not speeding aggressively, might indicate a lack of restraint. On the flip side, some defend the officer's split-second decision, pointing out the unpredictability of vehicles in tense encounters. For example, similar cases, like the 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, have sparked debates about when force is justified versus when it's excessive. This case underscores broader issues in policing, such as the need for better training on handling pregnant individuals or those from marginalized communities. It also highlights the role of bodycam footage in providing transparency, yet questions remain about how such evidence is interpreted. What do you think? Do you believe the officer's actions were justified given the circumstances, or does this point to deeper flaws in police training and oversight? Should municipalities face liability for officer misconduct, or does that unfairly burden taxpayers? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the lawsuit's claims, or see a counterpoint we've missed? Let's discuss and learn from this together.